Going to do a initial review on a newer e-cig named the J118, also known as the VX2, depending on where you get it. Picked mine up from eSmoker Online, and the other vendor in the US, at least I'm aware of, is LightSig USA, who calls them the VX2. Actually, I'd gone to check out LightSig and they were out of stock, and found the other place, eSmoker Online, and they had it in a PCC kit. So I'm a PCC whore. I gotta have my case if it's available, or I'm gonna break these things. So I went and picked it up. It's also tagged on the box as a V5, and if we look inside, oh, I took them out already. You find something that looks just like that, where it tells you it is also a J88B. So, I'm sorry, an L88B. The L88A is apparently a disposable version. So, look inside, got PCC, everything's pretty much in there. The power charger, which is a Euro wall plug, but with a US adapter, which works fine. And that's really it. Everything else is in the PCC itself. The PCC, I kind of wish Chinese manufacturers wouldn't guess what we think looks cool. This was this Dragon deal. It's the best out of the three options I saw, but PCC is plastic, which is okay. You know, it's actually inside is laid out pretty cool. I do have two batteries. The PCC kit comes with one battery, one atomizer, the PCC, and the wall charger, and 5 carts. It does not come with a USB charger either, which is a little annoying. I'd rather, you know, charge them through the PCC only when I'm actually out, but that's okay. Just definitely get yourself a spare cartridge, spare atomizer and battery if you go with the PCC case. The cartridges are foil sealed. They are the cigarello or kind of pen mouthpiece style. Each of these guys holds right under 0.6 milliliter by comparison, and that's with the foam, with the fill inserted. By comparison, the 510 holds just a little bit less than that. It's right at 0.5. The batteries on these guys is compared to a 510 battery. The glossy one is the J118. These guys are the same diameter, so it's just a little bit longer, not significantly. I did cheat a little bit and just went ahead and loaded up a cart. I've been charging one battery on this guy while I've been smoking the other one for most of the day and cycling it. I've got a third battery that obviously didn't fit in the case. Go ahead and put this thing together. So it is a pretty sharp looking smoke if you like the little, you know, shiny and gloss versus matte black, and it's got J118 across it. They actually do make these guys in blue and red, and those look actually pretty nice. Wasn't actually originally a fan of the mouthpiece, the non-round, but gotta say, lends itself to hanging in your mouth when you're walking around, and you know, it's not bad. Adjust to it. It is pretty light. It feels good in your hand. I did take a couple of vapes off of this from a fresh cartridge and put a couple drops of Eastmall 36 milligram Hilton in there, just to make sure that, you know, basically the cart's fresh. You know, literally I took 4 or 5 and just put a drop in there. So let's see what it does. It's not bad. It's not bad. It actually does produce a pretty good amount of vapor. What I found, usually the first 5 or 6 drags on a cart, again, I've only sampled a couple of them. I've had like 3 of them, and then actually I guess 2 refills and 2 blanks that I filled, and then 2 that were, that came with it sealed. Usually takes a couple drags to get it going, but they do produce pretty decent amounts of vapor. Say 510 by comparison. So so far I'm getting a little better vapor in general from the 510. Atomizer on my 510's worn in pretty well. So it's possible it'll get better, and it's not quite fair because I'm just doing a filled cart from a blank on my 510. This was kind of one to see the out-of-the-box experience. I do have a blank that I filled up with the same 36 milligram Hilton. See if maybe that gets us a little more vapor. Yeah, and it does a little bit. $5.10. Same liquid. So they're relatively comparable. Gotta say, the throat hit definitely goes to the 510. We're going to ignore the 510. I will do a follow-up because there are some interesting comparisons and interesting information between those two. But to try to wrap one of these in under 10 minutes. Battery life is pretty good. I have really not gotten much of a throat hit out of this guy. It is brand new. And it may well be the fluid. You always get those mystery carts. This is with the same liquid, and it does get better on the vapor. I'm just not getting much of a throat hit out of it. And it's actually producing less vapor right now than it has. I do wish I had the second addy to cycle out, but I like it. I will probably keep a couple parts on hand and see how I do with mixed carts, and give the atomizer another week or so. The battery life is a bit better than the 510. I've gotten probably 3 hours out of this guy. Size comparison, again, the 510 is a little smaller, but here's the 118 with a 401 and a Marlboro Light 100, so it's not terribly sized. Really like the feel of it. I'm kind of hoping the vapor production is actually pretty decent. It has been really good throughout the day. Of course, when I go to demo it, it's not bad. It does generally, I'd say vapor production is probably somewhere around 75% of my 510 for me. But it does have a really light draw to it, and some people may like that. And I found the reason why. If you watch carefully at the seam, when you close this up, it's now tight, but there is actually a little air gap in there. And I would wager, probably file that down, but you'll notice the air hole. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. The air holes in the atomizer end are 2, and they're really close where that gap winds up at. Anyway, running out of time. The 118 vapor production is pretty good. I'll do a follow-up on this guy with some direct comparisons to the 510, and maybe we'll get a little bit better vapor out of them, but I'm generally happy with the vapor. Yeah, I'm just not impressed with the throat hit so far.